everyone. I brought my nut crushers from my other stream.
And I just crushed my own nuts, so...
Hey, we have a special guest. You haven't seen him in a long time, or maybe you caught some of our 3DO streams. Panda Sub 2000.
I was about to say, I'm here every week. What are you talking about?
And our super extra special guest, and always here, Geeks with Cash, other known as the Geekstorian.
And not special at all.
And then, of course, we got not a flamingo, but we found
the person we replaced with a flamingo.
Batteries are expensive for the flamingo. We're good. Good evening,
Salvador. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Legend of Nelda. How are you? That's awesome.
A link to the fats.
A link to the fats. 8 a.m. 712 in the house. Hello, fellow cultists. Yes. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Have we settled on the cult handshake?
We were still working on this year's handshake, and the prayer, because I remember the original prayer was like, "What's up, 68 Camaro? 1-inch biceps in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you.
Hey, 1-inch.
Anyways, so we do. I got Panda Sub. I got to ask you, how you been, man? I know we do 3DO stuff, so I can't act like I haven't seen you, but I haven't seen you over in this neck of the woods in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think the last time I saw you guys was like around Christmas time, and I just wanted to hang out with you guys because I was working so much and I was sick forever. And then I got sick again for the 100,000th time, had ambulance trips, hospital stays, you name it. But It feels good to be back, and it's good to be with my friends here, hoping to have a really good show. So today I'm feeling about 80% better. 80% better, and especially since I started the show with crushing my balls, I feel rejuvenated and youthful.
See, there you go. And we're here to help.
Were you using Nut Crusher?
Correct. That's what I was. It was a callback to a joke that didn't work the first time. I figured, let's try again.
Let's just double down on that.
Let's double down.
That's fair.
Let's just.
I think we were a little family friendly this time around, right? I think I have to.
Yeah, we're family friendly now. Yeah,
modern family friendly.
I like how Big Block says, "Great panel tonight." Oh, and hey, Panda. Mike Garcia in the house. Yeah, I was just over on a level 857.
Great guys,
podcast. And,
yeah, they are really good guys. I say it every time I'm over there. I'm like, I'm not over on this channel enough. They do
a great show.
They do stuff every day almost. But that's the advantage of having like 5 people running a channel. You could do that.
Yeah, no, I had a good time. We were talking, they're talking new games. I tried my best to say, hey, new games.
To pretend like you know what you're talking about?
I pretended like know what I was talking about. No, they're awesome, man. And I did see that, we were talking about like the new Legend of Zelda. You know, it basically has a cell shading style like Breath of the Wild. They're charging $70. Was that, I was like, hey, $10, anybody's going to buy that. It was just kind of one of those things where you never, like if you're a fan of something, you're going to like what's $10? Like if
everybody's going to pick it up. They're going to complain about it and then they're going to pick it up. And I don't disagree that the price hike is kind of, it's a little shady given the fact that the console's been with us for a while.
It's not shady, it's just unnecessary. But it's the way things are moving. I mean, inflation is what it is. I think the average household in the U.S. is now making like 75,000, 80,000 a year. I think is the average.
Whoops. I don't know about me on that. Those numbers. I
mean, if we go back to $60 games,
25.
back in like the year 2000, where $60 was still for a premium new game, at some point that price is going to rise, or we're going to have some sort of differential between these premium AAA games and breaking out all the costs and paying for DLC and paying for it one way or another, or paying a little bit more of an upfront.
Wasn't Rab, correct me if I'm wrong, like especially during the N64 era, like weren't
$75, $90.
N64 games were anywhere between $60 to $80 games. Neo Geo games were $200. I don't know anybody that owned one of those systems, but it's not unprecedented for games to be this high or higher.
I'm getting 90s Nicolas Cage.
But it's the hair.
I know people don't like it, but the cost of everything's gone up, and the price of gaming has stayed the same since, well, basically the original Xbox or the 360. Yeah. I think it might be when that price jump went to 60. More formally, is like a standard, right? And then it's not moved since, and that's been a long time, longer than people realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, like they were talking about, how, like we're saying, like Dread and what's there's a bunch of older games that are still like full price, for the most part.
Oh yeah. No, Nintendo, at least, especially on their first party IPs,
maintains
almost
value.
Never lower the price.
Yeah.
But like Breath of the Wild, this Tears of the Kingdom, whatever
that's the new one. They said it's so in depth they had to charge more, which I don't care. $10.
If I remember right, when I played Breath of the Wild, I think my average playtime was like 1.8 billion hours or something like that. Yes. So for $70, that's like getting, I think if I'm doing the math right, 72 games for the price of that one, because there's so many hours dedicated.
A nickel per like 2 hours of playtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as much as Breath of the Wild isn't my favorite Zelda game, and not even in my top 5, I probably got over 100 hours in that game. So I got my money's worth out of it.
UN Squadron, yes. I had the arcade stand-up machine of UN Squadron, and I sold it like a moron. Well, not like a moron. I moved out of state, but I had to
I just paid $70 for that the Hogwarts game there. I'm Ravenclaw, by the way. I don't know much about.
I started getting into the Twitters, and I saw you do it. I was liking and hearting all your stuff.
I'm Ravenclaw, which I've said that my mother thinks I'm the best, so that means it's got to be true, and so I'm going to assume that Ravenclaw is therefore the best house in Harry Potter, and I don't want to hear anything otherwise. But my point is, anyway, that was $70, and so far I have to say,
is it good?
Yeah, it's worth it's so huge and expansive, and you've got this whole world to explore, and there's all this stuff. Thankfully, not any really microtransactions, which I thought there would be. My point is that on a lot of these games, I think the bang for the buck that you're getting, $70 to me, who's not rich, by the way, it seems fair, especially in the climate that we're currently in. To me, I'm okay.
Well, I mean, the one you recommended to me, Immortals. I've got 40 hours in that now, and I haven't even. I've only freed like 2 of the. I've only finished the storylines and 2 of the deities.
Yep.
Because there's so much side stuff there that I am enjoying more than Breath of the Wild. They fixed most of the problems that I had with.
I told you. I'm so happy you like it.
Made it a lot more enjoyable. Now it is getting a little tedious going into some of the
off.
Some of the areas.
Let's focus back on my hair.
Because it starts to feel kind of repetitive after a while, but that's not the game's problem. That's an open world game issue, right?
Yeah.
It's just a problem when you have like a game that's spanning this many hours and you have so many mechanics. You run out of combinations of stuff to really put in there to make it kind of feel unique each time. And, and especially as you start going into more and more of them, you're like, oh, look, it's another cosmetic for something I already have. It starts to feel a little less wild.
I can't wait to destroy Mike.
Everyone.
Nintendo Online.
Nintendo Online he's apparently talking about, not Game Pass, right? What?
Can I just say something real fast? I haven't been on here a while. I'm sorry to keep hogging the mic. And I know you're losing subscribers. But one thing, when I was on the operating table and they said, look, Phoenix, it looks like you're going to die. I said, that's cool and all, but make sure I get to that damn Game Pass podcast because I've got to school one Mike Dulles. You heard me.
That's what we're talking about right now, Tier
They are keeping me alive long enough to get to that Game Pass conversation. We'll move to the next topic. I'm sorry. I just wanted to do
it. So speaking of, and to go off on a complete tangent, I am going to try to do that on Monday. If you
get that man's IV drip to replace.
I am on call starting on Friday, so I'm hoping it kind of goes smoothly and I can have that conversation. If not, if it looks like it's going to be bad, we may have to move it again. At that point, I do want to move it to my other channel. I think that'll probably be the first episode on that new channel
Are you talking about
that would be amazing.
Historian?
No, this is the Geek Economist.
And that may be the death kill for the Geeks with Cash channel, because there's not much I want to. And really, what it boils down to is there's not much on the Geeks with Cash.
I want so many painkillers.
$10. Gosh darn it! $10? No way. That makes me. I'm throwing my Switch in the garbage if I have to pay $10 extra for Tears of the Wild Kingdom. What's it called? I don't remember.
I don't know. The thing is the thing.
Okay. I'll probably get it. That's a sad thing.
We're ruining Nick's pitch. Continue.
I'm sorry. Nick. Anyway, you're talking about killing your channel.
Yeah, there's not a lot on this channel I want to do anymore at this point. I don't have a whole lot of ideas for it right now, and everything is kind of disparate and all over the place with it. And I'm enjoying what I'm doing content-wise on the other channel more. So it just makes sense to kind of consolidate what I think works onto there and move forward there than it does to try to keep this channel up and kind of keep it on life support when I don't really have any good ideas for it, is really what it boils down to. So that's more or less kind of the story behind that.
Yeah.
Not so much of a pitch as a...
You got an amazing channel with great, insane content. It just happens all that great content's on the Geekstorian. And I get it, man. I get it.
It's just the one that I keep having the most ideas for, and I have the most time to work. I feel like I can work on it.
And that one seems to have
kill
focus.
myself or half destroy my house trying to set up a scene to record something, because a lot of the stuff on the Geeks with Cash channel requires a lot of light setup, camera setup, and a lot of room to do all that, to be able to film it. And quite frankly, it becomes very exhausting to set up and break down and do it in such a way that it doesn't piss my wife off. And it's so much easier to sit down, write a script, pull together the footage, and put things together on this channel.
That's one good looking box.
Yeah, Woman Machine is way too attractive. Can I just say, the Woman Machine is way too attractive. Yeah. Look at that,
guys! It's not me leaving the panel. Stop. There's no. It's not like I'm leaving this panel at all. I'll just probably just go by Nick on the panel. That's it. It just won't be attached.
It's just Nick. Man.
You're just consolidating from two channels to one channel.
Consolidating channels. I'm not leaving.
We're getting $70 Nick in its place. It's time to upgrade, right? Change with the time.
That's right. And really, it's even a steal at that price.
I've never seen.
It's really, in a way, it's Geeks with Cash. It's $70 Nick. Look at you. Nice. It's DLC Nick.
$70. Yeah, there it is. $70 Nick. He's like, I don't care about $70. I have
Make it $71.
This is true, Amico, bro. It's Amico for a bit.
Yeah, no, nothing's changing as far as my participation on the panel goes. That I wasn't even considering that.
What we want to know is, will you do it shirtless? Go, Nick. Will you do it shirtless? The people have.
I only do it for $500 or more.
If I am way too white to do a stream shirtless, I would blind my entire audience.
Hot.
I got the same like farmers.
That's what's called a Scandinavian summer.
I go bright white from this.
Sun never goes down.
I go white from this point on, like just turns into. Like
I'm just all tanned goddess. Oh God, not goddess.
Wow.
Goddess, huh? Really?
No judging here, man.
Hey, it's modern day Phoenix.
You go ahead and be a goddess.
My pronouns are in the bio, right there.
He is on medication. He literally cannot.
Steve says DJC Nick rather the Triforce of Amico. Sorry, Panda.
Panda's the space in between.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes,
I'm that empty hole
in between.
He's the antimatter that holds it all together, or destroys it, turns it evil.
Exactly. What is up with Panda's hair tonight?
That's
one of our topics, actually.
If you've been on Twitter, you'll see that I put a photo up of what I have to look like for future episodes. So I have to grow my hair out now, and it's got to have this like swoop thing. So I will be looking like this for quite some time. So, ladies, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to.
Nick's going.
I'm gonna have to be single for just a couple more months.
We're all gonna miss Nick.
Okay, hold on, chat. What the hell? Why do you guys think I'm leaving the panel? There's no change to the panel.
Turbo, can you cue the taps?
Good point.
We can play Nick out. We're gonna miss him. We love you, man.
Oh.
Be well.
You need to play Sarah McLachlan music over anytime Nick talks. Just drown him out in.
What a rain
arms
of a
What's Panda drinking?
Nothing but a lot of painkillers.
Embrace the swoop. He does have quite the swoopy hair.
Yeah.
Best of luck, broken heart.
Now chat's just like, bye, Nick. It's not so good. What are you guys talking about?
Pour one out for you.
Wow, this is gonna be our best ratings yet, Nick. Tell him how you're leaving, and then we'll bring you back.
Like 9 videos. There's gonna be
we'll be like, he's coming back. Everyone, tune in.
There's gonna be like 9 or 10 videos on me this week.
There's gonna be at least like 3 Twitter movements. Bring back Nick.
Hasselhoff, what's up, dude?
Hasselhoff.
Hey, man.
What's up, Hasselhoff?
Nick, we hardly knew you.
Nick, but a serious question.
Remember Nick fondly.
Serious question for Nick. Like, what was your favorite part of being on the show now that you're leaving?
And next we're gonna spill some beans. So
I think it was the time we replaced Rab with the talking.
Oh yeah, 20 videos incoming, right?
Oh God, it's gonna be a weird week.
Well, cheers to all
favorite.
3 of you guys. It's God
We're
bless.
Gonna miss you, man. It's been fun.
Man, I can't believe this is happening.
I guess we should announce I'm the new member, right? Like, so this is awkward, Nick. I'm taking over your spot.
Nick is here as a trial run.
You did get what I sent.
Ben is here as a trial run to replace Nick.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We're not replacing Nick, guys.
Maybe
we've done Rab with the Flamingo, but we're not going to replace him.
I can easily be replaced with the Flamingo. I'm not going to lie. I'm not irreplaceable.
This is how they say never to hold him. They're like, let's see if he's even working anymore.
By the way, my wife, I think, requires you.
All right, that's enough of that.
By the way, I think my wife actually.
I was promised in my contract we would not be seeing more.
Every show now.
I actually
backs her up every time.
I actually go get it. Now Panda left. I can't leave at the same time. Oh, he's switching.
He's got a hat on now.
He's switching to a hat.
It's a hat for the ladies. You're welcome.
He's ready for any kitty punches.
Actually, I just cleaned it too.
This conversation right now.
So I have been using it a lot, Nick. I have been using it to drink brandy out of. I've been using it to drink stouts out of. Nice. And it takes so long to clean the neck because the stuff goes.
I can believe that. I can absolutely.
And you can't get anything to scrub. I mean, I got like little pipe cleaners, so I sometimes.
Yeah.
So I literally just cleaned it the other day. So next show, that way I don't have to run upstairs and try to get. Next show, I will make sure anytime I'm doing a shot or drinking some Red Pop, the Flamingo glass will be there.
Didn't you drink it on one?
I'm not using it because it's being used.
No, I figured you were using it, but it did look like it painted about to clean.
Oh, it was not fun. Woman Machine says Nick wouldn't be the first male I ever saw leave after 69. Oh my God! Come on, guys! This is a family
69th episode. I'm gonna interpret that, right?
Nick was so young.
He really
steer this thing down, keep us all alive.
I need some like little duct tape X's.
I need an oxygen mask like fall right now.
Nick, it's so strange that you're going down on episode 69. It really is a horrible change.
Come on.
What? I said he's leaving the show. That's what I meant. I don't know what you're
He's not leaving. I think you're talking nasty, silly, nasty.
I'm not saying anything nasty.
Silly stopper said.
Enough. He's not going down. He's changing positions.
Good.
Oh, boy.
Good.
That didn't come out any better.
So let's get to our first topic.
There goes all your subs. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
And the show goes down over here. Bye.
Bye, both of you.
I do want to thank tonight level 857. They were awesome, and I wish I could have spent enough. I felt like 2 hours went like so fast, and I really wish
it's like being at a bar with your good friends.
Absolutely. And we were doing Nut Crusher. Well, I was doing Nut Crusher shots. They were doing something way cooler. We talked tequila. We had a few laughs. We talked some Switch. We talked some NES. We talked some Intellivision.
And now you're on your show.
John Alvarado says, "I'm out for Panda Sub."
Those guys are always a great chat, and I don't know how they can keep up with all of the new games dropping, but they're on everything.
Dude, I think they keep up with it because there's like 5 of them. They can just kind of split it up and at least talk about it coherently.
I know, but I can't keep up with like 150 of it. So
you have kids.
That doesn't matter.
You have no time, sir.
I can still scroll through YouTube.
You're talking. Camaro's talking about crazy fun time. You never know. Don't ever say never, because if the numbers aren't good on the Homebrew Show, 3DO Thursdays, or Turbo Tuesdays, they gotta go. Gotta go.
Turbo Tuesdays was fun. I have one note for you on that. When you change games, instead of just leaving it Turbo on the bottom, you might want to change it to the game that you're on. Because some of those games, I had no idea what they were.
That is a good idea.
That looked kind of cool, but Chuck, I had no idea what it was because I didn't see you pull it up initially.
Chuck, just I'd give you some advice from one huge podcaster, YouTuber to another. When someone's leaving your show, don't take advice from them. There's nothing to. Don't listen to what they have to say.
Did Valentine's Day? It did happen. I still have chocolate half a box of chocolate-covered strawberries.
It's a classic HR move. I mean, as soon as you know they're walking out the door, just cut their mic.
That's fair. That's fair.
He's probably ready just to go postal at any point. So just
that has literally happened to me before. Yeah,
totally going on like every other podcast after this, just to throw you guys under every bus. Just so
as you should. That is the correct response.
I'm Wrigley. Good luck.
So we do have a couple topics that people brought up last week. This was kind of cool. Exactly. I get my hands going too.
Do we have anything for the chat? We have questions for the chat?
I thought we had some topics at the chat.
Are we doing our Master System collections?
That we were going to run with, but I don't know.
We were going to talk about, let's first talk about guilty pleasure games. The game that you're like, man, maybe you're embarrassed that you're playing. Maybe you play a little too much Candy Crush in your spare time. Or maybe it's just something that you go, you know what? This is a game that people mostly hate or say is too easy or too hard, but it's one I constantly play and keep coming back to. I guess I'm going to start with Rab on this one.
Thanks. I don't have any guilty pleasures.
That's what they all say. That's why it's a guilty pleasure.
Good point, Chuck.
I have no shame. Back in the day, I totally would have. I mean, if you told my friends I was playing some Little Mermaid on the NES, then I would have been sitting at the lunch table by myself for that month again. But I mean, a guilty pleasure. It's like, what's a guilty pleasure game now? I mean, everything has an audience. I used to love, Bubble Bobble, and I wouldn't tell my friends about that. But now, like, everybody loves Bubble Bobble. You're not, it's not like you're like, oh my God, who plays that?
Yeah, pretty much all the retro games. Like, if you go and you look at a list of NES games, ones that people considered like garbage, people freaking love those. Like, you can find people who love X-Men by LGN on the NES.
Yeah,
or the Wolverine game, and it's.
I would say the closest thing.
Guilty pleasures, not abominations. Okay.
The closest thing.
That's the thing.
I'm joking.
The closest thing I think to like an abomination might be something like I mean, are there any more Facebook games where people are constantly like spamming what they're doing?
They used to do like Pac-Man and
farming
stuff like that. Like,
yeah, there are like
Farmville
simulators and stuff like that on there.
I would think that the most embarrassing game you can play are those like Steam games that are those dating simulators, which are basically that. Yeah.
But I mean, if you're single, stream all the time.
If you're single, like
which I am not.
I could see myself in my like teens and early 20s. I'm like, I'm afraid I'm going to spend all my money on these sorts of games because like they look really, really realistic. Really interesting if you're a young single guy or girl, but I don't have the time for that, and I don't want to get like caught up in that level of fantasy. So,
So
I mean, games like that, they're there, but I don't have time to mess with them or a desire to mess
you
with
know
them.
what?
I would
got
say
an
the
answer.
things. Go ahead.
After rep.
I'd say the things that are probably like the closest thing to a guilty pleasure might be something that like a game that has no point, like a mobile game that like you're not going to reach the end. You're just killing time. It's boring. It's stupid. It's repetitive. Like those little like puzzle sorting games
or in-app purchase. If you're like a whale, if you just keep
eat everything
buying.
in the hole. Yeah. Or you're like a whale and you're going and buying to build yourself up to be like, I'm the biggest and best in this game. It's like, yeah, you just paid to be there. Right. Then I could see that as being like a guilty pleasure. I don't know that I spend much time with many of those. See, that's like not a guilty pleasure. That's like an interesting part of history.
That kind of is, though, at the same time.
I have an answer because I don't think any of us. I don't think any of. Oh, okay.
We knew that was coming.
I guess it had to come. I don't know what.
I think I've got a good answer that I think a lot of people could be.
And it is after rap, so go for it.
Yes.
I went on for 20 minutes. You're good.
I'm a quick draw. So I don't have necessarily a game. I don't necessarily have a game, but I will say that if you're looking for kind of like not necessarily a guilty pleasure, but kind of embarrassing, is that nowadays I go for, when it comes to difficulty, I go for story. Like I go for, there's normal, then there's like 82 different versions of easy and all this other stuff. I am way before easy. It's like the most simplistic you could be.
I can see that because you could just because you just want to because
knowing
you
experience the game.
Want to see the story that the developers have for you.
Yes.
So
I'm not
interested
way
to do that.
And your friends are looking over your shoulder, saying like, "What? See, that's all you got."
Sorry.
I think a lot of people are. I bet you a lot of people are not willing to say what I said, but I think that they do that too.
Most people do. I don't know who jumps into a game and puts it on a hard difficulty setting. I think you're either going to put it on standard or easy if you have the chance, because
I normally
you're new to something.
On standard. I don't normally drop the difficulty, but I often don't increase the difficulty either. The only game I really do that on sometimes is Halo, and I'll do it after I go through the normal mode, and then I'll try it on a harder difficulty. But I never start on the harder difficulty.
But that's something you have experience with, and you're kind of expecting to. You have expectations going into that game that you want to get out of it.
And I play Uncharted 4 is a perfect example. Like I play that because I like the idea of this action fantasy comedy, great, watching almost like a movie that you're playing. Mm-hmm. I'm more just having fun with the story and living the fantasy of this, Indiana Jones type than I am about needing to keep replaying the level over and over again until I get everything perfect and I, get all the bad guys and reset, game over. So that would be, I guess, my guilty pleasure, my embarrassing gaming moment.
What a weirdo.
For the past few years.
I agree with Rodolfo. They did not make
I mean, if I want to play a hard mode game, I just go back and play like a couple notable NES games, right? I can go back and play the Mutant Ninja Turtles games or the Ninja Gaiden games or, like Contra and stuff like that. Contra's far more balanced than some of those others, but it has a pretty high, it's easy to learn, but it's really, really hard to master kind of gameplay. And if I really, really want to torture myself, I'll put on a Souls-style game, which I'll dump tons of time into and not really get very far, and then eventually just walk away from it because it's not, at a certain point, it's not engaging me enough because I'm not making enough progress.
Well, I also think it depends on what you want from your game. If some people find that maybe they have a kind of a dull job or whatever, and games give them that fun challenge that they want in their life. That is kind of like relaxing for them. It's something for them to feel like they're doing something.
I played it.
It depends on what kind of diversion you want from it. If you want something that is challenging your brain because you're so tired of monotonous tasks, then you're not going to want a game that is monotonous tasks. But if you have something that is really, really challenging, if you're a teacher and you're constantly responding, or a nurse and you're constantly responding to different scenarios and different challenges that are very difficult to solve all the time, you don't want to come home and play Souls. You want to do something that is Candy Crush, that is mindless and easy diversion. So it really depends on games are just part of that balance of what you're feeling in your life to, you know,
Rab
feel
took
better about
my
your downtime.
5-year-old statement and made it sound like an adult. Thank you, Rab. That's what I meant. Everything.
Also, Super Mega Graphics.
Welcome to the Triforce, my buddy.
Thank you for the super chat.
I can't get drunk enough for this
This
train
is
tonight.
for his
Oh my
memorial. I hope that's a
I'm gonna take a 5
I need
minute
more
break.
alcohol for this stream
cheers.
For Nick to go to
Oh
the
my
liquor
God.
store.
Poor Nick.
Salute.
He's the one who chose to leave, Chuck. You offered him a good, solid contract. I know we're not supposed to talk about this.
It was a solid contract.
Nick tore it up. He took his pants off and he urinated on it. So that's behind the scenes.
I did.
Well,
he even tried to up my no pay.
His body
to
that
no
was very
pay.
nice of you, Super Mega.
You
Graphics.
know.
Thank you. That's didn't have to do that, but that's the funniest one of the.
Hey, Super Mega.
Oh my God.
Amico bro says I like Bubsy 3D. I need help. Hey, okay, so Nick, what is your guilty pleasure game?
I don't know, man. I don't really consider too much. I'm kind of with Rab. I don't really consider too much a guilty pleasure. I mean, I play a lot of Angry Birds Pop on my phone because it's kind of like the bubble kind of game. And I just kind of find that fun to repeatedly play the stages and not dump any money in until I can like get a 3-star level on the stage. I know I'm never going to complete all the stages or come even more remotely close. So I'm not too concerned about it. It's just a time waster, right? And then, you know,
Foundation in Nick's honor. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Geeks is gonna run out of cash.
I didn't expect this kind of reaction to like consolidating a channel, but it's been interesting. I guess the other thing might be like the 350, really 350.
Ratchet and Clank.
Other
That's
guilty
really...
pleasure might be like the Dead or Alive games. I actually find the combat actually really good in those. Most people,
he says he's about 350.
I saw that. My other might be like the Dead or Alive series, just because I think it's a fun game series. I know everybody laughs at it because the jiggle physics, but I find the game actually fun. So
it plays really well.
Yeah, there's a lot of good core mechanics back there once you get past the jiggle physics. You just got to get past that, you know.
You ever play Rumble Roses, Nick? That's actually
that was fun. I enjoyed Rumble Roses.
It's a good wrestling game.
It is
with incredible jiggle physics.
It's got incredible jiggle physics, and it's a good wrestling game. I agree.
Not familiar.
So yeah, those would be like two of mine just off the top of my head. I was trying to think of ones that people consider guilty pleasure, and the only other one I could think of was like maybe Last Battle on Genesis, which is arguably a terrible game. Is
that the one where he just keeps kicking and punching everything?
Yes.
Wait, have you guys
too for the NES?
Oh, that's a great game, though.
Which I think is a great game.
They made
it's kind of hard to go back and
on
play now, but it's a great game overall.
Indy Racing says another guilty pleasure, everybody's favorite to hate on, 2600 ET. I used to play that as a kid. I never thought it was.
I played it. I kept the instruction book, so it made a lot more sense.
$70 jiggle physics.
Wait, I will say this. Yeah. Have you guys ever played? It's actually one of my favorite games ever. Mount Your Friends. I don't mean that that's an actual game on Xbox. Have you ever played that?
How did this get us so off the rails?
No. It's not. It's literally the name of the game.
Family-friendly format.
No, it is family-friendly. Let me finish. It is called Mount Your Friends. If you've never heard of this, you need to play it.
Thank you, Amico, bro. We're family here. How am I supposed to explain to my cousins that my friends
sounds like something came on like PlayStation AirPlay or something?
No, this is a perfect guilty pleasure because my friends and I used to play this. The idea of the game
was this with Kinect?
No. But you've got to see this, okay? And it was on Xbox. The idea is you have to keep climbing each other. You're mounting each other. You have to keep climbing up the.
Oh no!
Swinging up. Except speaking of jiggle physics, there are swinging physics, and it has to do with the male anatomies. That's what I will say about Mount Your Friends, and it's just something you have got to watch. Right now, everyone, go to YouTube. Mount Your Friends Xbox.
4G. TV. Gamers Guild.
It's rated like PG. This is totally family friendly. It's real.
It's just I don't even huh? We were talking guilty pleasures. I didn't know just pleasures. I guess that's a guilty one. Is Casey in the house?
A real
Casey,
game.
I still haven't seen anything on the porch, dude.
We got it.
I still haven't seen anything on the porch. I'm so like, oh. The lights. Yeah, that's literally all I could show is lights and controllers. Thank you, though.
Saving us, putting us back, not on topic, but somewhere. Thank you. They are very cool.
I really, if my friends were dear, I really, my guilty pleasure, and I kind of mentioned actually a couple of these, because I like weird stuff anyways. Wow, now I'm almost cussing.
It's all Nick's fault.
It's all in the Nut Crusher. And it's Nick's fault. God bless, rest his soul.
Yeah.
So it's Anticipation on NES, the video board game.
With that is the whitest cover you could ever. Like, it is every white stereotype.
It's gonna battle it out with Phalanx for the Super Nintendo. You got a hillbilly.
I don't know.
I'll show it. You ready for this? Look at this.
This I think wins.
I gotta go solo here. Hold on.
You have to try and focus. It is every white stereotype beautifully on display.
It needs like an 8 is enough theme song.
It's
or something
really, Anyways, that's one of my guilty pleasures. I guess it's. Anyways, I also like Jaws and Nightmare on Elm Street. 2 LJ.
Jaws is not that bad.
No, it's pretty good.
Jaws is actually great. It has nothing to do with Jaws.
Jaws, I need to get more into. My big problem with Jaws is I didn't really understand what it was doing anytime I played.
You collect corals.
Well, kind of.
Conch shells, if you will.
Conch
shells. Let's not go into.
I feel like I need to sit down and get that one other chance because I've seen people play it and it actually looks kind of fun. So
we're all upset.
I need to give it more of a shot.
I think like 2/3 of LJN's library is more than salvageable. There's fun to be had there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And Nightmare on Elm Street, wasn't that?
It's nobody's favorites.
That one was built by Rare, I want to say. So that one's actually kind of solid, really hard.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Woman Machine says, I imagine that high school photo of Phoenix looks similar to that game cover. Hey-o.
You have no idea how accurate that statement is.
A whole lot of pastel and big hair.
Haunted West, dude. Haven't seen you in forever. How are you?
Hey, Haunted West.
Hey.
I'm now DJV.
Normally known as Speaks with Cash.
No, but my other haunted pleasures, I might as well call them haunted pleasures, are something that me and Panda have been doing a lot of on 3DO Thursdays, and it's not what he was talking about. Okay, we've been playing like these FMB or terrible
my favorites
games. Like coming up tomorrow is the debut premiere of Rise of the Robots.
Well, you can even
Spoiler
see where you
alert,
swing
it's
from.
awesome. Yeah.
Spoiler alert! It's the best game ever. It changed fighting games.
7 guys found that on Game Gear today, and
yes,
I'm like,
they were talking about. Yeah, you saw. I'm not your guy. I'm not your buddy, guy. Oh, dude, this is. Panda knows about this. Do you have that close to you?
1 second.
Yeah.
I honestly thought about picking up Night Trap when it came out on Switch because they actually did an HD remake on that on the Switch.
The catchphrase about your friend's 3D is a hard man is good.
I think it was limited run. I think other than that, it's just out digitally. And I'm definitely not going to pay limited run prices.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
Who's doing
even their normal prices are a little outrageous.
Those are my neighbors.
Once they hit Amazon, it's even worse.
What? You got the Night Trap on and then look at this.
Sega the video. Of course,
Trap
have
and the regular Sega CD.
Wait, okay, you got to go through everything that this is on right here. So, what's that first one you had?
The first one is the Switch, which is my favorite because remember, Nintendo said they would never have Night Trap on their console, and here it is in its all of its glory. There's that.
Yeah, this is post Howard Lincoln Nintendo. So
yep, this is the Sega CD Night Trap
Oh,
without the rating. This is without the rating.
nice.
Then the 32X version
Yeah.
of Night Trap, the
Wow.
CD 32X, and then of course the 3DO.
3DO, which is the best. I've never seen that.
I know. I should put it on your show one day.
Next time you're on the show, please bring that on. I'd love to
you're
have
gonna flaunt
that
your Steam
for the
upload of
3DO
Night Trap
show.
too?
Didn't the
Good call.
32X
Yeah.
Sega CD combo just kind of expand the color palette or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. It didn't add anything else other than just some.
That's what I thought, because you had to have that 32X plugged in, but the disc only went in your Sega CD. It didn't actually have a cart as well.
Right.
That's a
But
good
yeah,
game.
as far as guilty pleasure games, I guess that would
Gianna's
be it.
sister's game on the Wii U.
I like
Yeah.
like weird NES games that everybody else makes fun of or hates. Karate Kid would be another one that people probably don't think.
You
is
know,
that
I've
great.
seen a lot of
That's a
people
good
kind of
game.
find a lot of redemption
I
with
think it is,
Karate
too.
Kid. It's hard, and I've never messed with it.
It's
I've
the
seen
mechanics
people
of the
do it.
up jump, which is kind of quite. There's a few games that have it, but it's a lot more button jumping than there is.
Yeah,
up
and up
pressing
jump
up.
is kind of a terrible idea any way you look at
It
it.
is.
It's
does
really
not
a bad
look good.
idea.
But 88, 89, there's a few games that are like that use the up for
I
jump.
know. I just consider it a bad idea all around anytime they do it. Because some of them did it even after a dedicated jump button was a
I
thing.
mean, if you're a platformer, what are you using up for anyways?
they do
Just
have
going,
that kind of
up a ladder. So it made sense. Then they get an extra button. But it's not something we're used to with so many of those other games going for the AB format of jump and punch and
Yeah.
kick.
Well, it's also not good because it's on your left hand. You're not used to jumping with your left hand.
Well,
Yeah,
I
and you're
think
jumping
my problem-
and moving the direction you want
Right.
to jump. So it's like you're
Yeah,
pressing.
I think
up and
that's
you're
my problem with it.
doing
Is
that.
it's so much easier when you're doing like left or right to hit the button and get that direction than to try.
Unless
to
you're like a
up and
you're like a
direction
fighter
at the
guy.
same time. It just seems
That's
kind of
cool.
counterintuitive for my brain. I don't
Bloodshore.
Bloodshore. Yeah.
know.
it's a good
Never messed with Bloodshore. I don't even think I heard that.
Blood-
Bloodshore
familiar
is
with
a
it.
game you're not familiar because you guys don't visit my channel. Bloodshore was a
I think you've told me specifically don't visit your channel multiple times.
I don't want to see you coming
I
around
think
here.
you said
I think
it's a
was what you
terrible
said.
idea. Don't come to my channel. There's nothing here worth watching.
It's funny. I
think you
tell it
said
to
that on
all
multiple
my
occasions.
I tell it to all my subs.
I'm growing all this out. Just stay away until I'm ready.
Exactly.
I have a guilty pleasure right here. Twisted the Game Show.
Can I just say something fun about that? So one of my favorite things that maybe Chuck is not going to tell you about is that we laid really hard into this game. We did not like it.
Go ahead.
But then we
I have
found
no
out-
problem with you saying it.
But then we found out that like all the people who made the game watched our
Because there's only like 3 videos on it. So like, oh my
Seriously?
god, they're covering Twisted.
She's
They're
like,
covering
oh
the
my
game."
God. I felt so like, I was like, I hope they have a sense of humor.
We're getting
And
the
it's
band back
literally,
together to watch
this
this
is the
video.
best
It's a
one we
premiere.
reviewed.
Let's
There's
do
been
it.
some crap. This is a good game. We just ripped it apart because it was 90s cheesy,
Yeah.
bad acting, weird selections.
because I think I had said something like I would prefer to unlive myself than
Well, we did censor that with a bleep. So it was,
Wow!
I think the thing was
I'd
I'd
prefer
like to
to
press a
boop
boop to
myself.
my temple and boop myself.
I gotta
What
tell
did
you,
you
and coming as close to death as I did, I stand by that statement.
Yeah.
I made that.
Yeah, he did almost die, and he's almost dying now. So
I've seen the other side, and I will
Twisted,
go
the
back and
game
look at it again
show.
before I have to go
It's-
back and revisit
It's
Twisted. the
much
game.
better without Twisted. It's
and,
much
and,
better.
and I think you had this idea before, but I feel like we need to like have a set where it shows us all just kind of sitting down and doing like a riff track thing on like half of these games.
now we know where the Mousetrap Museum is. It's so true.
Because I think you had that idea before, but I don't think I remember seeing you execute on it. And
I have it
knowing you
already.
half built the set already.
Yeah, I have it all set. It's just
I figured you did.
Dude, I'm trying to get Zhang host People's Party next because that is one I'm going
Yeah,
to
that
buy.
one looks interesting.
I think it looks very similar to
And
Twisted.
enough kidding around that Twisted would have been a much more fun game if we were sitting on the couch playing
Yeah,
I think it would be.
All right, let's not pretend it's that great. Okay, it was, but compared to, no spoilers.
Just paid me to hate it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what happened. Rise of the Robots. That's coming up tomorrow.
Great game, guys.
It's a great game. It
really
speaks
good
for itself. I'll tell you that. It speaks for itself. Zhang hosts the People's Party. But anyways, our second topic, since we're about 15 minutes, I just realized we have no chat poll.
I'm going to take my 10
It's on you, sir.
It is on me. I literally was late, came from another podcast, and did this. But I think the Nut Crusher makes up for it.
Two-timing podcaster, you.
I'm just a two-timing podcaster. That's okay.
Yeah.
But
you guys are gonna have Turbo on another podcast. Nick is leaving. It's just gonna be me and Panda like brushing his hair next week, guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be him just like.
Watch, we get so many views and subs.
You're assuming by that time he'll actually have hair.
You're assuming I'll be alive.
Yeah, he will not be alive.
Or not be alive.
All right,
rest in power, Nick.
Tune in next week. It'll be me and like a flat line.
Yeah, exactly. You just see a lot of like flies going around.
Yeah, I want to get Zang host. I'm getting that. Hopefully, Zagnost or whatever. I'm sorry, whatever it's called.
Chuck, have you found a place that actually has it?
I found a place on eBay. It's called eBay. But I am actually going to go out to a place in Walled Lake, Michigan that's got this huge retro game store. I'm actually going to be filming at a couple stores soon. I'm kind of getting that in the works for hopefully March at this point. But I'm doing that whole retro game quest where I'm going to go out. I'm going to be a new game chaser. I'm kidding. But yeah, basically we're going to go out to the stores, film, and show like all the rarities they have under the glass. And there's a couple Turbo like stuff I've seen already. And anyway,
you should be the game chasers, but with no money. You're like, Nick, so is there anything you have that's more free?
Is Alvarado replacing Nick if Panda doesn't pull through? Wow, that was a triple joke.
Well, we know Panda.
The game chasers, the glass case salivators.
Panda never lasts long enough to pull through.
No,
Joe, I agree. The 3DO is the most underrated.
Very
system.
correct.
Michigan has Walled Lakes. Yeah, that's the name of. Yeah, I never thought of that. That was just the name of the city. It's called Walled Lake. Yeah, I think it is actually spelled like that. Yep, they have giant walls to prevent the water from getting out. I'm kidding.
What's your other topic there, dude?
Yes, our other key. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
So we don't have any polls, but what we do have is other topics, and it is
nice layup.
What is your personal best game? What is a game you're just always playing because you're so good at it, and you've probably played through it multiple times? I'll go first. So mine, I have a few, but and they're pretty much like well-known games. Super Mario 2. Those two games I could play through. It doesn't matter how old I am. If when I was a kid I was good at them, when I'm good at them. Yeah, maybe my timing's a little rough, maybe now, but still, those are games. They're just muscle memory when I put them in. Personally, I can do those anytime. Another one is I gotta check now. I think Jaws was another one like that, although my live stream wasn't the greatest the other day. Oh, I'm sorry, that was on Patreon. You guys didn't see it unless you're on the Patreon. DJC Game Studios. Anyways. No, yeah, I would say Ghostbusters is another one I used to play through pretty easily when I had my NES Max to climb the stairs.
Really? But why? That game is so bad.
I'd say Star Strike's another one that I could just play through in 2 seconds because I know exactly how to hit the targets, exactly how to, But anyway, I'll stop there. I can go with more, but like those are games I just think, yeah, personal best that would be those. Like I if someone's like, hey, if you don't finish this, you're gonna fall over dead. No offense, Panda, but when I'm talking about these games, is like that's the type of things like I can constantly play through, win them, no problem. I have to put the time in, especially Super Mario 2 is a little long to play, but Super Mario 1, I bet I could do that in 15 minutes or less. Just,
yeah.
I don't know. What Panda, what would yours be?
Few of them. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Contra, and any Guitar Hero game are all the game. Like those are fun.
I love some Guitar Hero, so that's pretty awesome.
So those games in particular, what I really like about them is that you can kind of zone out and play. For me, I can zone out and kind of play those games.
And chat, please.
Sometimes what you need. Too. So those would be for me. Like I like the games where, excuse me, where I can listen to a podcast or do something, just relax. Those would be it for me. Those would be my 3.
That's awesome. And Casey says, in television, first baseball, I can beat that. It depends on who I'm playing on the first one. On the one-player one, I don't think I've beat the hard. Have I beat the hard level? I don't know if I've tried. I probably should try that.
Well, how are you? You love the bowling game too, right?
Bowling, I have. It's always different. It's just like I've had a hard time as a kid. I got farther than I've gotten as an adult. So, which I don't know why, or it's just how I've been. Adventure, that's a good one.
I love Atari Adventure because it is the most crazy game of all time, that you're just this little pixel that just goes around different color worlds.
Little square.
And yeah, I love that game so much. And then that little dragon thing follows you. Such a good game because I don't know what the hell's going on.
Guitar Hero 3, is that the one that had Death Clock in it, Brendan Small? Or is that they had a DLC or an extra pack of songs that was for that? I think it was Guitar Hero 3, but yeah. I used to play the Rock Band ones. I had a whole band like in my garage. We had like the drum kit. I was always singing. Everyone else was doing guitar and drums and bass, and I would mess with the guitar every once in a while, but I was mostly the singer.
And when you were doing that, did you think you were pretty cool, or did you?
I was very cool. I hit all the notes. Like when they did Weezer, "Say It Ain't So," I was like, "Say it ain't so," oh! And then they were like, I was like, "Yes, perfect!" And I was really into it. I was way too into it.
And such a good album, that album, Blue Album. So good.
I'll do a playthrough in Super Mario Brothers 1. I do use warps. I hit level 3 to do the like a ton of lives at the end of 3-1 for the on the Koopa Troopas. But I really don't have to do that. I could probably warp to 8 and beat the whole thing. Like I haven't tried it recently, but it's one that I think there's one that I could beat that. I will do a video on that, to be honest. Nick, what about you?
Honestly, there are none. The closest I'd say is probably Contra, because I did manage to eventually 1cc that on my channel. I was pretty good at that point. It would take me some practice to be able to get back up to where I could really play that reasonably. I've been doing a ton of Ninja Gaiden, the first Ninja Gaiden. It varies between being able to get to like anywhere between stage 5-2 and say 6-2 on one continue or one CC on that.
I've never been good at that, so that's amazing.
I beat it 1 or 2 times, but it's kind of a struggle, and I've been working on just trying to clean it up just because I've gotten stubborn with it. The only real talent I have in video games is being too stubborn to know when I should just quit.
Much like this podcast.
So I eventually beat most things if I just put the time in, for the most part, with the exception of Earthworm Jim, which I just decided was not worth the effort. By the time
you got angry on that real quick.
Dude, by the time I got,
it's a hard game. I've never beat it.
Every stage was like less fun than the last, and by the time I got to stage like 7-1, I'm like, I need an autofire on this in order to be able to do this, because spamming this is just getting painful to be able to like float down through the stage, and I'm spending hours doing this. This just sucks. It's not fun. So
I gotta read this.
I eventually just bailed on it because I wasn't having enough fun with it.
I gotta read this from Super Mega Graphics 64. Thank you so much for the generous donation. I'm now being told that Nick is not actually dying. I felt my donation kept him alive. So here's a little more. Hope it buys him some more time. I hope that digital sign buys him some more time.
Yeah.
And if you'll notice, my name is now Nick on live support.
Papa Beat's song is my guilt. It's my guilty. I hum that every day.
Great song.
Nick on life support. Thanks to
The old earworm.
This guy's already dead to me. Oh, I still, dude. Mine still says Turbo from the Turbo Graphics Experience.
Yes, we've all known.
Yeah.
Why does?
Yeah, I've known that for a while.
I thought this was like a level 857, like you were the second Turbo, and I missed that joke.
Oh, you literally did say that. Hold on, let me see if I can change it. Produce, where's there? I was gonna say I don't have much control here anymore. Hold on. There we go. I am DJC Game Studios. Have you heard of me? No kidding. That was cheesy. All right.
Excuse me.
There we go. I'm not gonna have this guy's dead to me or anything like that going on. The stem cells your donation provided worked. Panda survives on the tears of his enemies. He will never die, and my money would only insult him.
It's a very solid point. Very accurate.
Here's my childhood support for Nick, $2.37. Very specific.
Yeah, that's the alimony.
Thank you. DJT devastating just Turbo without life.
And I do enjoy that Nick is not getting any of this money. That makes it even.
I know it's all going right in his pocket. Actually, for the $2 to $5, most of that's going in YouTube's pocket. You know that they switched to, which I absolutely love YouTube. They switched to taking 55% of every super chat and money making and yeah, it's.
Didn't they also start charging like $15 for their free music?
I don't know.
I heard people complain about that on Twitter today. I'm like, oh my god.
Panda Mouse.
Is this for the free YouTube audio library?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
When I went to my audio library, it was still looked normal to me, so I don't know what's going on. But
the show has fell apart.
I think what they're doing is they're changing it to where you can use licensed artists' music as well, but they get paid a portion of the royalties for it. So I don't know. It's some new thing they're doing. Any way they can get to skim money out of people that they're making money off of, you know.
I'm here if you got to grab something to swing on. We're good.
Speaking of making money, Big Block Plymouth, Silly Club member, joined today. This will may this propel Panda forward. May he continue to mount many friends.
I will need that money to buy friends.
I'll go ahead and give you what's left after 55% and the mailing fees. You know what? I'll just keep it.
Sounds about right.
That will probably cost less for Panda because he would have to pay you to get the money at that point.
$4.50. Good.
They give you $4.50, but you're
going
to have to make sure
this money. Buy Xanhos. I actually will. That's the silly thing is I will buy Xanhos, the People's Party. Woman Machine again. Where is Man Machine when you need him? Everything falls apart when
every time.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Steve says Nick's story
is not the glue of the show. He's the sniffing glue of the show.
This is way off the rails, guys. Panda's
a started off the rails. I don't know what you're talking about. The moment they knew Panda was going to be on the panel, we knew it was just going to go downhill.
Where were we on personal best games? Panda,
I
think we all went.
We all went. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. See ya. No, I'm just kidding.
Brad didn't actually go though, but
yeah, he did.
But...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have second thoughts about you getting on the show, buddy.
Brad is the highest shareholder, so we gotta listen. So.
There's a lot of games that, like, I mean, Contra for me, I remember as a kid it being a challenge, but I've played it so much. Like my record on that is 5 run-throughs without a death. Pretty nerdy on that one stat. That's like an hour and a half of just going through and playing that game over and over and over again. So that's how sad a couple of my afternoons have been. Gauntlet, Iron Sword, Wizards and Warriors, Kid Icarus. There's several games.
Kid Icarus, great game, dude.
That I can just pick up and kind of run through. I've played them so many times, and I just have a good familiarity with those games. Deadly Towers, nobody loves it, but I enjoy going in that game and just sort of getting lost and taking out towers. I don't know. There's, I think
it sounded very terroristic.
Yes.
Oh man,
that's what I do.
Impressive.
Don't cross me. Yeah, I think there's a lot of games on like the Nintendo and Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era that just sort of like we were talking earlier about just sort of like mindless. You just get into a zone and you feel it and you just run through it. Ninja Gaiden always had this reputation as a really hard game, and it was until like the first time I beat it. And then, then I knew I had to do it again because I had such a good time getting there. And I've probably beat that game a good 12, 15 times over the years. So I just, at first when I pick it up, I'm clumsy with it, but once I start to get the jump mechanics and everything and I get a feel for it, then I can get right through it's a good feeling to get through those games, and they're 20-30 minute games. So It doesn't take a lot of it doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of it's just persistence. And after you've done it so many times, it's just muscle memory.
Speaking of muscle memory,
something that's missing from modern gaming in a lot of ways is
we don't know why.
There aren't a lot of games where you just jump in, you spend 20-30 minutes, and you've done like a full run of however far you're going to get, and you're done. There aren't as many of those now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a $70 experience now, so I can see why there's not so many of those. And, as much money as they put into games, you feel like you got to pack a lot more content into it. So
no,
you
and I
just don't see
totally
those
understand them doing that to justify the price. That makes sense. But there's a lot of indie games I feel like they could be filling that niche that don't necessarily. You get a lot of value for your dollar out of those because they're usually like $20 or less. But I feel like you don't necessarily need to make them as kind of like Vampire Survivors is a good experience of that.
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes tops, usually on a run, unless you put it on endless, right?
What's like a Mario 3? Like I don't even remember. That's been what's that, like a 3-hour experience? If you played the whole thing,
probably like 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
So that is a long.
Maybe even less.
That was one I mentioned. I never got.
If you hit all the levels, if you don't,
I mastered 1 and 2. Yeah, I think 3 is probably long. Let me read this really quick before it. Like we're the big block with the $4.99 Silly Club super chat. This is so we remember Rab was here too, even if we're not sure why.
Why was he here?
Oh, and then to your
bragged about Contra for a minute.
Is tab is a terrorist advisory board.
Oh, it's chaos tonight.
Oh my
this
God.
show went south.
Chaos. Super Mega Graphics says one last meal for Nick. It's so bittersweet.
I hope he got to pick this one. It's only right.
Machine says I think he's going to pull through because he's
no, it's chicken or meatloaf.
Hey, okay.
John Alvarado says EverQuest. He didn't feel guilty for enjoying it, but played it too much and felt guilty afterward that I should have been doing something else.
Yeah,
I think that's called addiction.
Yep.
Evercrack. I poured so much into that.
I would say World of Warcraft and almost any
Odyssey Brother. Yes, you guys are Odyssey Brothers.
And I can't remember anyone that I played with or went on raids or anything like that with. So it's just like it was a fun time sink, but it's lost to time now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll draw ski slopes with you any day, Big Block.
Crashing this stream with no survivors. Oh my God! How about that the train crashing with all those chemicals?
In Ohio? Bringing that up for?
No,
pleasure games.
Because I was in the map.
Was affected by that.
No, we were affected. It was in the map that the cloud was moving over us like a day ago.
So you and I are both going to be in heaven soon.
Yes.
We'll be doing.
I was watching people are like, my skin's peeling. And I can't speak. I'm like, they're like, all the hens are dead. I'm like, that ain't good. Is this ever going to be addressed? Nope. I'm like, I guess we just deal with it ourselves and it doesn't get reported. I don't get it. Yeah, they showed us in that my buddy I was helping my buddy hanging some drywall like out in near Macomb, Michigan, which is where the map said that we were right in. And he's like, yeah, so this is happening. There's this big red thing from like Ohio or whatever it came from. And I'm like, what's that? He goes, You didn't hear? And I goes,
There's
no,
always some
cloud,
big red thing or another from Ohio.
Yeah, this giant toxic cloud is about to come over us. I go, from what? He goes, you didn't hear? I go, of course I didn't.
I mean, what is a Buckeye?
It's
like a giant red cloud of death, right?
I mean, he is in
so Canadian
with the state he's in.
Isn't
it just kind of one constant red cloud?
One or the other. The state only has so much funds, Canadian.
I drank all the tab in those tab boxes, which I shouldn't have, because if I would have held on to it, it would have been worth like $200 a case at this point. But it all went here and then went out the back, if you know what I mean.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Indy Racing says he's eating MRE for breakfast. Well, God bless you, man. That's end up looking like that toxic waste dude.
Was that his guilt? Indy, was that your guilty pleasure?
I don't think it's his guilty pleasure. I think he's just eating it to survive.
And he's just eating it because, the bombings haven't started yet. So
yeah, right? Oh my God, big block with another $4.99. Long live Nick. They see you're getting better. You're eating.
Indy's in Israel. Every Thursday is like MRE for breakfast Thursdays.
Oh, because it was discontinued and the last batch expired in April of 2021. I drank my last canned one, well, half of it, because I kind of got scared after that. I'm like, is these chemicals eating away at the end inside of the can?
It's also worth money because Turbo is paying like $100 a pack for any undrank tab boxes.
But yeah, it's worth a ton now. So anybody that has any.
Is there any questions you have for the?
I was checking my topics in my notes. I don't really. Do I have any questions? Panda, how is it having hair like that? Like, what do you do? What is your conditioning? How, it's very swoopy and beautiful, to be honest. A goddess would have that hair, if I may say so.
You've really touched my heart and my soul. Thank you so much, Chuck. It means so much to me. And like I said, man, I am growing my hair out for the part. I have to have very long hair.
It's his last meal.
And then I have to shave it off again for the next scene.
Another part.
That's right.
Could you just do more shows with hats?
I could. Some wacky hats.
Yeah, just wear a silly hat every time.
All the special effects you do. Like, I just can't do hair. Cool. You don't know.
Guessing for Genesis, right? I always wanted the arcade of that.
Was that Lethal Enforcer?
Yep.
Yeah, Harda Wiss was saying that typical people in service will break out MRE because of the habit. I've ate them before. I mean, I've tried them before. I know a lot of military people that had them. But yeah, I mean, it will work. I tell you what, it will work. New question. What's your favorite risque game? Would be Poker Risque. You could buy it now at theintellivisioncollector.com.
The answer is Leisure Suit Larry. That's the best game. And/or Super Seducer.
Ooh, yes. And Plumbers Don't Wear Ties and Night Trap.
I really don't know. I wish I had one. A fun one to
I
share.
would probably say Leisure Suit Larry. I played, I think, one out of that series.
Well, on to another topic.
Well, that is the end of our topics and the end of the show. Nick needs to get his strength back so he can be back next week. Rab will be here. He thinks this guy's already dead to him.
Actually, you know what? While we're
I'm just going to randomly be changing my name.
Panda's having a hair crisis.
I actually do have a. I think I'm not sure if I've asked this question before, but it's a fun question.
Yeah,
and I think I've asked this before, but Rab, I'd love to actually hear your answer on this because I don't think I've ever asked you this. So back, the old school games, like we mentioned, like let's say Contra, right? Contra or Castlevania, any of those games where a lot of it is memorization, right? Does that to you count as skill?
Good question.
I'll give you, and before you answer, I'll give you a quick little thing to think about before you answer, because once you learn the muscle, the finger memory, whatever you want to call it for Guitar Hero, no matter what new song you throw at someone like me, it's a challenge that you can, and the same as like Street Fighter. Once you understand all the moves, you get to a certain mastery level, but every new challenger is a new challenge. Whereas if you're going to a game like Castlevania where it's memory, does that technically count as skill? Rep, go.
Yeah, I do think that that counts as skill. I mean, is it a transferable talent? To an extent. Yes, you are learning to memorize, but what you are memorizing and what you're doing, you're hitting the timings, and when you recognize when you first see something come on screen or something, then you're responding to that stimulus. If it's at the top, if it's at the bottom, so there's a varying level of response that you are learning to do. It's memorization, but it is responding to stimulus. So it's a bit of both. Can you take what you've learned playing Castlevania and then automatically transfer that to playing Blasphemous? To an extent. I mean, I think you're going to be better equipped for a game like that has you do have transferable skills.
Okay.
But learning and mastering that game does not have the same transferable skills that you're thinking of as maybe learning different fighting techniques in a game where you understand the dynamics of a fighter and how they're responding. And this is someone that is using more of an aerial combat and how do you defend against something. You know, I think there's more and less transferable skills, and memorizing like an older game has fewer transferable skills to it. But I do think there are skills there.
So if you took Castlevania, let's say you mastered that, then I go and
many times
tweak.
Over. But go ahead.
And I go and I tweak it. I tweak the code.
I would love you for it because I love these hacks that take the same game and tweak it and make it something different so that it is more challenging.
But would you have the same talent?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. I think, you're probably going to run up against something and like, oh, I didn't expect that to be coming. And that Medusa head came up from behind and hit me out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it. You'd have to adjust for some of those, but I think there's a certain level of talent that you're going to be transferring. If you make adjustments to it, I mean, if you change the game entirely, then yeah, you have to respond to a different game. But if you're making tweaks to the timing of things, if you're making tweaks to what is coming at you at certain times and changing up the level design and stuff, where the jumps are, how far the jumps, you make a true hack where it's a new variation of that same game. Yeah, I think it might be 60%, 70% transferable skill, but there's a lot of stuff that you still have to learn that's going to be new. But I think some of that transferable skill is going to be there just in the fact that you're probably not changing the jump mechanics of like a Simon Belmont. You're probably not changing, your high-low whip and stuff. So there's things that you're getting muscle memory and feel for. And I think
and you're not changing the enemy, you're not changing the way an enemy works.
But you're changing the placement, you're changing the timing, you're changing layered how many are coming at you and stuff, and you're making it a more difficult or a different experience. Yeah.
Right. Oh, cool. All right.
Well, I'm glad Nick is not fading out of existence. Just saw that.
Just our viewers are.
Just our viewers are.
Shut this guy up already. Why isn't he taking the chicken dinner?
We suck at Guitar Hero. See, now I had a buddy of mine that was like an insanely great guitar player, played a lot of like speed metal, Pantera style metal, like just like he could play Cowboys from Hell on the Guitar Hero with the Guitar Hero guitar without looking at the screen, just listening to it.
Wow.
And so I believe it's just all about the skill and how you also have to master the game, because the guitar, obviously the Guitar Hero guitar, yeah, everybody could say you strum and hit the chords, but it's way different than a real guitar. So you have to basically master the game and play guitar, and then your brain has to kind of, because he was going like this, not looking at and playing it, and he did a perfect game, and it was the best thing I'd ever seen. And
I have found that mastering a Guitar Hero controller does not get you the same chicks as a real guitar.
No.
I tried.
Opposite.
It did not. I'm just clicking there, just click, and didn't get me any love.
Yeah, Joe says if there's a friend who's nuts at guitar, can't even follow along to Rock Band. It's so different. It is. But it's like this person was such a gamer that he loved Guitar Hero so much, but he loved Pantera, knew like every lick of Pantera, so he must have mastered it so good. he's like, I'm just gonna, and he was like, and I was like, oh my god, dude, it's so crazy. Yeah, Nick is in limbo. Don't follow the light, Nick.
I do like that we went from Nick is leaving the show to now he's dying.
Nick is dying, yes.
Lacey, what's going on?
He's not dying. He's just going into a severe coma.
And he's doing it very casually, just eating and enjoying.
Graphic says, I just want to mention how proud we are of Nick. He's handling this like a champ. I hope his stoic resolve can teach us all something about acceptance, resilience, and bravery. May we all be Nick.
All dying.
Don't worry, I'm secretly plotting all of your demises as I eat my dinner.
You've already got like 5 plotted demises for me. You got to put one of those.
I do.
May you never be forgotten. Oh, he's gonna put Lazarus to shame. Okay, guys, we're gonna call it.
We're gonna call it Geeks with Donations.
We're gonna call it, yeah. I appreciate it. I mean,
I made you so much money tonight.
Hey, that $2.37 at 55% is really gonna make a difference in our life. I'm kidding. That was very specific with the $2.30.
It really was. It was very odd amount.
We know exactly what your friendship means to him. Exactly.
Yeah. Less than $3.50.
Yeah.
He's not dying. He's waiting for the mothership to pick him up. Well, maybe, as long as they don't shoot it down. That's all I'm saying. Heyo!
Hey!
This
all
is
I
the
know
best.
I'm going to totally cry at the end of this movie.
He's not leaving. $3.50. Oh.
They didn't tell me Nick was a puppet.
Get together, I made him $2. That's more than Phoenix has.
Sadly, very true.
He's not growing this hair out. He just can't afford a haircut.
That's also painfully true. Yeah, it's for a part. Yeah, of poverty.
Well, thank you for coming to episode 69, dude.
See me practicing
and I
over on 38.
appreciate everything. I want to give everyone the opportunity, that anyone that's not dying or stuck in limbo, to say what's coming up on their channels. And go, Mr. Panda Sub.
So first of all, thanks for having me. What? Thanks for having me on here.
Yes,
it was a lot of fun. It's always good to see you guys. I'd like to do this more often if possible. As far as me, when I'm working, that's what I thought. I was just hoping that I could throw that in real quick.
Button for 69.
I'm actually
throws everything off and Nick dies.
Esmil! Oh my God, Esmil, we're about to sign off. It's so good to see you, dude. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thanks, mommy.
I'm working on a lot of stuff. I'm hoping by the end of March or April, my huge episode called Maniac Manor is coming out. And then after that is a really great episode called Man Machine in the Retroverse. And then I've got a really cool podcast thing that's coming up after that. So 3 big things are coming up lined up. And then we've got a big episode featuring Chuck actually returning in the role that we did from last year.
Yes.
So a lot of big things are coming up. Just be patient with me. It takes a long time to make this stuff, but I am working. If you check me out at Twitter or Instagram, PandaSub2000, you can see some behind the scenes stuff of what I've been working on. A lot of stuff. And thank you again for having me.
That is awesome. Nick, what is coming up on your channel? Will you be alive still to have your new channel?
I don't know. I seem to get more.
Enjoy your new life. Oh, no, what happened? What happened to him?
You killed him. It was the. You guys.
Oh, there he's back.
I seem to get more attention on my channels if I'm dead. So I don't know.
Guys, if you want Nick back, we need to head up those donations for only $4.99, and Nick
thank you, Camaro.
2 minutes.
I had 2 videos this week. I had one on what I think, at least right now, is the first graphical RPG, and one on another weird oddity for the Atari 2600. I'm been editing pretty much every day on
Startup.
on a longer format video that I've been working on for a while, trying to piece together. And it's going to be the second in a series that didn't really take off on the old channel called Evolution of. The first one I did was platformers, and this one's going to be on fighting games. And this one was actually harder to research than the other one. because I don't think anybody's done this before. So I'm kind of discovering stuff as I watch footage, pull these things in and kind of look at them and get some form of idea of where these things came in. And I found a lot of games that I didn't even know were out there. So it's been kind of a cool experience. I'm about 10 minutes into the editing on that one. And then there's like all the other audio and stuff that's got to go with that, like music and all that other stuff. And I need to rewatch it a couple times just to make sure all the graphics and everything are where I want them and all that other good stuff. So I don't think it'll be out this week. It may not even be out next week. It might be the following week. It depends on how on call is, because I go on call on Friday. So everything kind of goes up in the air when I go on call. I have a few other scripts written up. One, which is, it kind of is gaming related. That's going to be an oddity, and it's kind of not. So I'll let you guys decide when that one drops. And then I'm working on the Unsung Heroes project with Brad, and I have a script I need to get over to him that I wrote up for that. So there's a lot of stuff kind of floating in the air that's sort of in limbo that may or may not materialize in a timely manner. I'm becoming more like Rab and Panda every day.
It's a good place to be, Nick.
My man.
This is
Dead
the
Man
end.
After My
By
Own
the
Heart.
Doors is the outro. My only friend. I can't. I'm going to get copyright stricken. But thankfully, Sneed says the Geekstorian is still alive.
The better man. The better man.
He was the
By
best
the way,
of
I'd
us.
like to thank
I'll
everybody
be a
who's
better
channel.
man.
That channel broke 800, which is kind of surprising to me.
Congrats.
So I was pretty happy about that.
Well earned.
That's been kind of great to see people have such a warm reception to the channel and come back and genuinely seem to enjoy it. That's a real treat for me to have, as just somebody watching and enjoying all this stuff I'm wasting all my time on.
Hey, it's a lot of fun stuff on there. You know, you are digging up some things that I think a lot of people just kind of take for
fantastic.
they take for granted that a lot of this stuff in gaming history happened, and they don't kind of understand where it came from. So to see you kind of digging into it and highlighting it, we need more people doing that.
Absolutely.
No, and it's been the thing I like the most about it, and kind of what got me into all the history stuff, at least in gaming, is I'm always learning something when I'm doing things, right? I'm always finding something. So it kind of changes my perception on how I view things. So I never...
It's the best time to get them.
I take less for granted what I think I know anymore.
Joe,
because Kitty's flowers are still what Jesus. I think what it's done is it's kind of changed my perspective on what I think I know, right? Because I never really assume I know anything until I do enough digging on it anymore, right? I don't just assume I know as much as I think I do anymore, because I've realized I know nothing.
Cloud of chloride. No, that's what I'm sitting on.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just here now. Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
Did any of us really know Nick in his
Did we
prime?
really know Nick?
He was a sweet, sweet man.
I don't know if I know me, so probably not.
But you got your flowers. You got laid while you were around.
Any of you when I'm gone. All right, I can't take anymore. Oh, by the way, check out.
That might be the best one tonight. I didn't do it.
Because they put out some incredible stuff.
Nick is flying around in his weather balloon. He goes, don't get shot down. This administration shooting everything. All right.
Stay more than 200 miles from the U.S. shore.
Yeah, right. Man, you're just a kid with like a college project and a drone. It's going to have a sidewinder blowing it up. Oh, my God. Anyways, thanks to Nick. Thanks to Panda.
Man, you've been so great on here, Nick. Everyone for Nick.
Yeah,
for Nick,
guys. Come on, give it up.
We're doing it for Nick. Doing it for Nick.
Let's hope he pulls through, okay? He's eating. That's a good sign. Yeah.
He's going on his balloon fight tonight, guys.
He's going on a balloon. The big balloon ride in the sky. Where he's going. Please check out on this channel tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Myself and Panda Sub 2000 are playing a new 3DO game. It's one of the best
games,
greatest fighting games of all time.
Okay.
It is the most anticipated back in 1994, Rise of the Robots. As you can tell, because it's constantly being talked about to this day, it redefined all fighting games.
I hope we play it.
Combat.
I hope we play it again after the show wraps up. I hope we play it again.
I'm hoping we could all play it and just for hours on end would be amazing.
Me too.
Screw that. I am mounting some friends.
John's clapping for
As
Nick.
you should.
He says Nick.
But not me, because I'm in limbo.
Yeah.
I don't know what to grab and swing from. It seems like everything's going to fall off. So,
Amico so we could meet in Paris, sit at Kalachi's under their cafe, and exchange glances for your work. God.
That was brilliant, by the way. I love that. That was great.
Amico, bro, I would love to see that.
I'd like to see Anne Hathaway. That works for me.
Like you just like he's like eating pasta or something. He's like,
Sup?
thank you so much, everyone. We will see you next week with maybe another crazy guest. Maybe this guy. We don't know. It's just nuts now. Now it's just nuts.
Hey, there may be news. Let's
hope for news. We hope for news, right? As we always do. Remember this thing? I just have this here just to hold up. Eventually, the battery's going to run out down here for like 3 weeks. Anyways, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.